It is open, my friends. Battles have yet to begin. Laughter we had in gales and floods, but if not, at least there will be blood. The sorrow and loss may abound. We'll do our best to hold this hallowed ground.
Welcome back to Nightbane. Oh, we are still at the Canadian camp. We are doing lore dumps. We have learned about vampires last time and that they are a pain still. They are hard to kill, but we have learned that silver is something that is effective against them if we can just collect some now. If we want to actually make it a priority to go after vampires. It's up to you guys what you want to do about that, or if you want to figure out more about what they're doing on Earth, what their master plan is. Never know. Beyond that, we were going to go off and talk to a double slasher and see what he knows about the Nightlands or the Night Lords.
A what now? A double slasher?
Yeah, Freddie Myers. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Need to watch more horror films, Dange.
I'm good.
Except for what was the one that was really, really crazy? The one that where they actually fought two slashers in space.
Oh yeah, Myers in Space.
Yeah, Myers and Jason, I think it was in space. But anyway, that was way out there. That was, hey, we need to continue the franchise. We ran out of ideas. But anyway.
Oh.
But welcome back to Nightbane. As always, we've got a lots of catching up to do. If you want to catch up, check out our YouTube and rewatch all the other episodes. We have our party of 3 Nightbane plus a camp of about 12 other Nightbane. And we're learning the lores and learning what it is, the world that we live in it truly is. We've learned about Nightbane, we've learned about vampires, and now we're going to go find out about the Nightlands and the Night Lords. Freddie Myers has been said that he is a biomechanical, which is the Nightbane's version of a centaur, half man, half motorcycle. Him specifically being a Harley. So, should be pretty easy to find him. Because he is going to be in camp. I've already rolled. Everybody is in camp at the moment. Nobody is out doing anything. And there's a reason for that as well, which we'll find out here shortly. So, unless you want to do anything else, bless you.
Bless you. Goodness.
Didn't make it to
wow.
mute.
That sounded rough.
After walking around the camp a little bit, you definitely find Freddie. He is sitting in front of a tent. Bless you again.
How can you tell that he's sitting?
He is stationary in front of a tent.
It's the pistons are in a lower position, so it's not actually lifted off the ground. Also, his kickstand.
You don't hear the engine running.
Or that too. Yeah, no engine running. It's pretty obvious, Millie. I mean, once you think about it. Well, I know thinking's pretty hard for you.
And the brother sister love. Yeah, anyway. You approach him. He sees you approaching. I forgot to start my timer. And we started the timer. And he looks up and he goes, "Ah, newcomers, newcomers, newcomers." Fresh to Nightbane by the looks of it. And you want to know some information by the looks of it, right?
Yeah, were you a motorcycle rider before you turned, or have you always been a Nightbane?
I have not always been a Nightbane, but yes, I was a motorcycle rider before I was Nightbane, but it just luck of the draw, from what I understand,
Yeah.
that I got this. Wasn't in an accident where I got fused together with my bike or anything like that.
Right, right.
It's one of those things. Yeah, were you a hunter?
No. I was a
Okay.
weapon designer.
Well, weapons there. That's close. Yeah.
I ride bikes too, so I'm just,
Nice.
curious.
No, you cannot.
I wasn't gonna ask. Dang it.
Yes, you were.
Shh.
So,
Blue sky.
I assume you're here to learn about the Nightlands.
Correct.
Don't
Yeah.
don't go.
Duh.
There. You got all you need to know. Don't go to
Okay,
the
let me just
Nightlands.
write
Well,
that
if the
down.
theory is that we were
Don't
there
Go.
on
Why-
Dark Day,
It's not the theory.
it's not the theory.
No, the theory was I was brought here.
The two planes merged. What's the difference?
There's a big difference.
Okay,
Okay.
Motorcycle Man, what's the difference?
Big difference. Okay, in the beginning. Okay, the Nightlands. Oof. Okay. First off, you need to think of the Nightlands as a separate planet. Okay? Just think of it as it was a separate planet. The planet is made of clay. Now, I'm not saying it's really clay. I don't know exactly what it is. Something's like, but it kind of looks like clay. It acts like clay. You know, it's dull, reddish, clayish, whatever. But the whole globe is this substance. Okay. I don't know who created it or how it was created or if it's a natural occurring thing in space, time, whatever. I don't know. But the Nightlands, from my understanding, and we'll go over, I'm sure at the beginning, this is going to introduce a lot of questions, save them to the end. But the Night Lords have an ability to bring the Nightlands, planet-wise, whatever, into parallelization with another planet in a different dimension. And that is going to be Earth in this instance. This is definitely, from what we've seen, not the first time this has happened with the Nightlands and the Night Lords. They've done this before to other planets in other dimensions or whatever. This is just the first time it's happened to Earth. When the Nightlands gets in sync with the paralyzed planet, it starts to take on the shape of that planet. The terrain of the Nightlands slowly reforms itself to match the terrain of the planet that it's mirroring. It begins to mimic everything. Now, this is mountains, terrain. There is no star in the Nightland sky. So it's definitely a different dimension. Don't think of it as being in our galaxy or our universe even. It's in its own dimension. There are no stars. There is no weather in the Nightlands. Technical weather. There is no water. There is no vegetation. It is just this clay substance, which in time will take on the shape of whatever it's mimicking on the Earth side. So it mirrors everything that's Earth side. And if it is a structure on Earth, in time, it will mirror it. So cities will be mirrored. It's still this clay substance, and that's all it remains on the Nightland side. But structures will, in time, it usually takes months. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you can sit there and watch happen with the naked eye. But if you go and come back in a couple of days, you might notice some things changing. So it takes time for it to understand that something is there on Earth side, and it will change. So like cities, if a new building gets built, it will in a couple of months mirror that new building gets built. It mirrors everything that is on Earth that is a structure that is not moving. It has to remain stationary. If
Is
something,
there water in the Nightlands?
no, there is no water in the Nightlands.
I want to see what the Mariana Trench ends up looking like.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Second thing about the Nightlands,
She's crazy.
the environment does take on characteristics of what is being mirrored on the Earth side. And it's weird to explain, but it is a feeling, such as if you go to the Antarctica in the Nightlands, it is still the same clayish brown substance. There is no weather. It is not ice. It is the same as anywhere else on the planet, but you will feel cold. If you go to a desert region that's being mirrored on Earth, you will feel hot. If you go to the rainforest, you will feel humid. If you go to where a lake is and you start walking down into the bed of a lake, you will feel the resistance of the water, even though it's not there. If you go to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, you will be crushed. Even though there is no water there, the pressure is being mimicked there somehow. Don't know how this magically gets done, or not magically, or whatever is involved in this, but the environment is somewhat mimicked on that side. And it's generalized environment. If there's a storm that comes through, a blizzard that comes through, it's not going to be a blizzard or a storm in the Nightland side. It's only things that last for a long time, like Antarctica or a desert, things that don't change very rapidly. You will pick up on the heat or the humidity or the coldness or the pressure of water, things like that, that remains there. Things, but it's things cannot be in motion. So houses, yes. Cars, no. The other thing that happens, which don't understand why or how, but it's definitely a part of how they get across. I'm sure maybe you've heard about the mirror walls or mirrors. Mirrors are the way to travel between the two dimensions. Now, something is, I'm not going to say special about Earth, but something is definitely different about Earth. Nightbane can travel the mirror wall or travel the mirrors to the Nightlands very easily. It takes just a minimal amount of focus when you're looking at a mirror to say, I want to go through it, and you'll go through it. Character-wise or player-wise, mechanics, it takes 1 PPE. That's it. For you to expend to go through a mirror. It is not so for the Nightlands creatures, or the Nightlands beings. It is extremely difficult for them to go through a mirror to come to Earth, or even to go through a mirror on Earth to go back to the Nightlands. Traveling the mirror wall for them is extremely difficult. And from what we've been able to determine, this shouldn't be the case. It should be just as easy for them as it is for us. So something's at work here. We don't know what. But that is what has prevented them from coming in and just flat out taking over Earth. Now, again, all there is this reddish, dullish clay substance in the Nightlands. So, how do mirrors get there, you might ask? Again, it has to do with static structures. But if a mirror is erected on Earth, after the structure of whatever is housing the mirror has had time to form, giving a couple more months, the mirror will form as well on the Nightland side. Do not know how or why, but it does form. Again, it has to be a mirror that is static, that is there, like in a bathroom, or something that just doesn't move for half a year on end. A pocket mirror, you can go through a pocket mirror. You will not come out in a pocket mirror on the Nightland side. So you better know how to travel the mirror wall. And if that's not an ability you have, don't do that. You're going to get lost.
What
But
defines a mirror?
something that you can look at and see your reflection back in mirror. Not shiny surface. It has to be a mirror. Do not know why.
So, like,
Not,
would windows work?
no.
Okay.
Not unless it's a mirrored window.
Right.
What about those salt flats in Utah where you can see the reflections?
No.
Good.
Has to be a mirror. Yes. Yeah, that would be bad. But still, it's not easy for them to come across. Still, even that. I mean, it is very, very hard. Mechanics wise, in the plating system, it is a factor of 2 exponentials to come across. So for you, it's 1 PPE. For them, it's 10,000. That is the only thing that has saved Earth up till Dark Day. Now,
Question.
yes.
I may have missed something in there, but if we go through a mirror, do we have to end up in Nightlands, or can I just show up in another mirror? Or is that part of the mirror walking thing you were talking about?
That is a skill. It is part of the mirror walking thing. You have to know how to do that. As a Nightbane, you do not know that innately. The only thing innately you know as a Nightbane is how to go from mirror to mirror, static mirror to static mirror. So
Which
a
would be
mirror
Nightlands.
into the Nightlands, yes. And I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you're very positive on who's going to be waiting for you on the other side. Because believe me, mirrors are watched. There's going to be guards. There's going to be people there waiting for you to come across. Now, going through my notes here, we got the temperatures being crushed. We got structures being copied. Yeah, go visit the arches in the Nightlands. Anyway, yeah, no vegetation. Changes that happen on Earth eventually do get copied in the Nightlands, but not fast. We got through mirrors. Okay. So, that is the Nightlands itself as a planet, body, dimension. Now, it's inhabited. It is inhabited by beings called the Night Lords. The Night Lords are not supernatural creatures. The Night Lords are something greater than supernatural creatures. The Night Lords, I don't know. I don't want to use the word gods because we've learned gods are just Nightbane who posed as gods. But they're celestial beings, probably. Who knows what? I don't know. How they are, where they were from, what they were born, what dimension they're from, don't know. Not going to stick around and ask them. They are extremely, extremely powerful. They can manipulate matter with their minds at will. They can do it to such an extent that they can create avatars of themselves, like self-replicating, and send them off to do things. They cannot be killed. Period. They can be destroyed. And kind of like vampires, they'll be back. But there may be a way to kill vampires, there may be a way to contain a vampire. There's no way you're going to do anything with a Night Lord. You could kill him, disintegrate him. You could try and capture him, but I wouldn't do that because how are you going to capture something that can manipulate matter at will and is multiple exponential times more powerful than even a supernatural being? But they'll come back. They just pop up here and they're back. Now,
Question.
sure.
You destroy them or whatever.
Mhm.
Where do they appear back? Is it back in the Nightlands? Do you banish them if you stab them a bunch?
Yes, they will appear at their seat of power. So,
Okay.
and that is in the Nightlands. I hope, pray, and would be very, very concerned if the Night Lord ever came to Earth. I don't know of any example in history where a Night Lord ever did come to Earth. They always send their minions. If a Night Lord came to Earth, which I assume was probably on their schedule to do during Dark Day, and maybe I shudder to think, but maybe one did. I don't know. But if there is a Night Lord on Earth, the best thing we could do is destroy him, so that we're sending him back to the Nightlands, and that's all we'd be doing. Now, as far as the Night Lords themselves, that is plural. There are Night Lords. There's one that rules them all. His name is Baal. B-A'-A-L. Baal. He is the leader of all Night Lords. And his seat of power is in the Nightlands in Washington, D.C. After Baal, there are 12 other Night Lords. And yes, for some reason, they like seats of power in big cities.
How do we know where they're located, and how has the Nightlands already established our powerful cities? If you said it takes a couple of months for the structures to form, it's only been about less than 1 month actually by now.
The Nightlands have been in parallel with Earth for over 2,000 years.
I'm sorry.
Yes. The Dark Day was just they're finally attempting to do a full-out invasion.
Okay. Not ideal.
But yes, the Nightlands have been in parallelized with Earth for over 2,000 years. It's just because it's been so expensive for them to get here, there hasn't been a full-out invasion. They send minions whenever they can. Now, Night Lords need life force to survive, draining the life force from living beings. So usually, whenever they do send one of their minions over to Earth, it is to round up humans and take them back so that they can be drained. Or if they get a hold of a Nightbane, take the Nightbane back and drain them. They don't need it often, from my understanding. One a month will do them fine. But all of their powers are based off of life force. So to make avatars, to make their minions that they do, requires life force. Now, the 12 Night Lords, they each hold a city of power, political power. And over the 2,000 years, those have changed, of course, based on the cities of Earth, coming and going, and where the political bases go and change and everything. But we do have a fairly good idea of where they are right now in this day and age. But they rule from those seats, and they work together. There is no infighting. They are practically of one mind. They want to call Earth for all of the life force they can, and then probably move on to another planet. Now, after the Night Lords, still talking about the same race, of whatever the race may be that the Night Lords are, there are what we call Night Princes. Those are Demi Night Lords. Not as powerful, still very powerful, but not as powerful as Night Lords. They also inhabit cities, and we think that, let me get to my sheet here. There's probably about 600 Night Princes.
Holy heavens.
Now, that is all of their race that are in the Nightlands. So 13 Night Lords and 600 Night Princesses. Princesses, who knows. But they, of course, have the ability to manipulate matter and manipulate life force, so they create minions. There are 3 minions that they make. You've probably seen hounds by now. They make those. And then, of course, hopefully you haven't seen yet, but there are also hound masters. So those are, if they have a big enough hound of force, they need somebody to, organize them, control them, rule them, whatever. They will throw in a hound master. And there are also what are called hunters. They are like hounds, but they fly. Those are the 3 creations from Night Lords and Night Princesses. From what we've been able to guess over the last 2,000 years, they've made approximately 100 million hounds, 1 million hound masters, and 1 million hunters. So, yes, we are extremely outnumbered. And if it wasn't for the mirror wall being so difficult to pass, we wouldn't be talking now. This war would have ended a long time ago. And the humans would have been gone and cold. Now,
We'd be singing
we
Flight
say
of
that,
Concords. The humans are
yes,
dead.
we say that this isn't the first planet they've done to, because there are other creatures in the Nightlands, some of them sentient, who are subservient to the Night Lords, and who we assume are the remnants of other worlds that they've taken over. One of these is called Asmati. Asmati in their true form look like worms, tentacled worms. Worms with tentacles, no eyes. Very horrifying. But Asmati are also magic users, so they can shape themselves into whatever form they want. Asmati are dangerous, and they're the ones we really, I think, we need to worry about in general, just because they're magic users and magic is very powerful, and not a lot of Nightbane or humans know magic. We really need to balance the scales on that, but we figure there's approximately 100,000 Asmati in the Nightlands, and Asmati have come over to Earth, not in numbers. The other creature that we believe is a conquest creature left over from another world is the Namtar. In their true form, they look like large beetles, except they have an ability to create hollow shells in any form that they want and to manipulate those shells. So they've earned the nickname of Hollow Men because right now they make the form of humans and they go walking around as looking like humans, even though they're hollow humans with a disgusting beetle inside of them, controlling them. And we figure there's approximately 100,000 of those as well on the Nightland side. They are not magic users, but they have the ability to create these shells, and that is an innate ability that they have.
But these Asmatis and Hollow Men,
Mm-hmm.
they're the remnants from other planets being destroyed. I assume they're enslaved.
Yes.
Could they be convinced to
No.
betray the Night Lords?
No. No. We are talking. The Night Lords have been on Earth conquest for 2,000 years. The youngest prince that we know of is approximately 20,000 years old. You're talking about conquests maybe happened 100,000 years ago or more, a million years ago. Their rule is complete. No one is going to fight or turn against the Night Lords. Or I would say we would have to offer them something stronger than a Night Lord in order for them to join us. The next extra dimensional creature that's in the Nightlands is that is sentient is what we call snake birds. They look like big flying snakes, snakes with wings. They are sentient and they are also magic users, but not great magic users like the Asmati. They just know a handful of spells. But they are very sentient, very subservient. We don't know how many there are of them. But I would have to say thousands probably as well. The other two creatures in the Nightlands, which are definitely remnants of other worlds but aren't sentient, are what we call waste coyotes and lizard kings. So just think very big lizards, like kimono dragon big or bigger, and big coyotes. They're not sentient, they're just beasts, but they're pets for them. They're trained. They do whatever they want. They hunt with them, things like that. And there you have the wrap up of we are severely outnumbered. If you go to the Nightlands, you're going to meet them. All the mirrors are watched. They take hostages. There are definitely humans and Nightbane right now in the Nightlands, alive, captured. There might be some, definitely right now, that are not captured, that are on the run. And there's probably nothing that we can do for them. At least yet. Now, I would say we almost lost this war with Dark Day. Whatever they did to drop the mirror wall and almost invade us, but something happened. I do not know what. It was not something that was an organized Nightbane counteroffensive or anything like that. But somebody saved us. Now, I'm sure that a lot did get through. Because they definitely seem to have started taking over governments and things. Oh, and that leaves, I forgot about the other things that live in the Nightlands. So, how to explain this? You know how I said structures and everything get eventually mimicked in the Nightlands? Well, so do humans. There are beings in the Nightlands called doppelgangers, which are doppelgangers of humans. But they are, I almost want to use the word zombie-ish. They're not, they are not coherent. They're not sentient. They just exist. If you ran into a doppelganger in the Nightlands, you could walk right by them. They could care less. They don't have an understanding or knowledge of themselves or things around them. They just wander the Nightlands. Unless the Night Lord wants to make them sentient. Which a Night Lord can. They can take a doppelganger, transfer life force into the doppelganger, and make them an actual true copy of the human counterpart. Doppelgangers probably, there are no child or baby doppelgangers. A human has to be alive for, I would say, 20 to 30 years before they get doppelganged in the Nightlands. Before the Nightlands register them as being around long enough to be worth doppelganging. And then they get doppelganged. But there is no other connection beyond that. It's just an echo. Just think of them as an echo being with no life force. Unfortunately, the Night Lords cannot drain life force out of them, thank God. Otherwise, they'd have a really good supply of life force right there. There is no life force in them. But they can put life force in them to make them sentient and a doppelganger, and then use them, send them to Earth to be a doppelganger. Doppelgangers are humans. There is no doppelgangers of Nightbane. So yes, there are billions of doppelgangers in the Nightlands. Luckily for us, they can't be mobilized very well as a force. They just get in the way. But individually, they can be used against us. Great. Now that I've blown your minds, questions. Don't go to the Nightlands. You know that first statement I said? Now you know why.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's no way for us to actually succeed in getting these Night Lords and everything away from Earth. It sounds like we're just postponing the inevitable. What's the point?
There's gotta
Prolonging
be.
suffering?
Now look who's being feudalistic.
Yeah, but anyway, there has got to be something else at work here. There's got to be a reason why Earth is not easily accessible for the Nightlands. Something has to be blocking them. And there definitely was something that stopped Dark Day. There is something here. that is somewhat evening the odds. Don't know what that is. We need to figure that out. We need to organize, because the Dark Day did work in our favor. It created a lot of Nightbane out there. Nightbane were very rare and hardly ever created before. Now there are probably maybe millions of Nightbane out there in the world right now. If we could organize and figure out what is holding back the Night Lords, then maybe we can figure out how to help and win. At least try. Or go off and do nothing. Give up. That's your choice. But something's out there fighting for us right at the moment. I'm going to try and help.
How do we know about Nightbane being connected to the Nightlands and the Night Lords coming after us if this paralyzation thing has only been going on for 2,000 years, but Nightbane have existed for a lot longer than that?
What do you mean by connection, I guess, between Nightbane and the Nightlands? There is no
Well, they have the
connection.
same naming basis.
Well, somebody was unoriginal in naming.
Typical.
It's dark over there, so they called them Night. Night Lords, Nightlands, Night whatever. Night Princess.
Could also
Why
be a
they call us
translation thing.
Nightbane, I don't know. But we're not connected. We're not the same species. I don't know. We don't know what created the Nightbanes, who creates the Nightbanes, what creates the Nightbanes, why the Nightbanes get created. There definitely is a connection somewhere, because Dark Date happened and all of a sudden a lot of Nightbanes spawned, I guess you would say, or were transformed from humans into Nightbanes. But again, that's got to be, it was a counter to the invasion. Something out there is working against the Night Lords. It's not the Night Lords are creating us or have anything to do with us. If it was up to the Night Lords, we wouldn't exist. The Night Lords hate the Nightbanes because humans can't travel the mirror wall. We can.
So,
We were made to fight them, but we just are woefully underpowered and outnumbered.
So are we a byproduct of the Nightlands, or are they an invader
No.
of the Nightlands who took over at some point?
Who are they?
The Night Lords.
We don't know if the Night Lords are native to the Nightlands, or if they created the Nightlands, or if something else created both. You're talking something that's hundreds of thousands of years old, and we haven't gone in and just had a nice little conversation with Night Lords, you know? We end up dying if we ever get close to them. We don't know those answers yet. But if it was the Night Lord's choice, Nightbane would not exist. Because we, even though we're not a huge threat to them in number, like, you know, we can't, if all of us got up and went over to the Nightlands, we probably wouldn't survive right now. But the way that they only can trickle into Earth, if we could organize, we could easily take care of them as they trickle into Earth. Unless they figure out how to do another Dark Day. And then we have to figure out who stopped Dark Day, and we have to figure out who's fighting against them or what's fighting. You know, we got a lot of questions that need answered. Up until now, we didn't think that they could do Dark Day. You know, it's been 2,000 years of them trickling in to take humans here and there, take a Nightbane here and there. Nightbanes weren't very numbered. We at one time walked openly, and then we decided to go into hiding when the Night Lords started sending their minions over, because once they figured out we existed, we became a target. Because we can fight them over here. We can't fight them over there yet. I mean, you have fought a hound, right? You won against the hound?
Yeah.
You know, we can beat them here in low numbers or if we can gang up on them. But we can't fight 100 million of them if we went over there. There's got to be a way. I don't know. I just think there's got to be a way that we can figure out how to win this war. It may not be a war that we're going to win in the next 100 years. But then again, we're immortal too. Questions?
So many. I just don't think we have answers to any of them.
I'm kind of just processing right now.
Yes. It's a lot to process. I agree. We don't go into the Nightlands willingly. Right now. And as far as I know, only 2 Nightbane have ever made it out of the Nightlands alive. And that would be the twins.
And they were born there?
Yes. I mean, really, it's their story,
Of
but
what?
Their story. We should talk to them next.
I mean,
But they're twins.
Yeah.
they, their mother was captured and taken to the Nightlands, gave birth in the Nightlands.
So they're not of the Nightlands.
No,
They're not
they were
Night
just
Lord's
born.
offspring.
No.
Okay.
They were just bad timing, is what they were. And the mother
Take
did
that,
not make
every
it.
American who tells me I only have the right to claim my American citizenship and not my English citizenship. Screw you all. Long-standing joke, sorry. Carry
Yes.
on.
But they made it out just because one of them has a lot of power with the mirror wall. And the shroud. The other one has the shroud. So they were able to hide and escape in time. The Night Lords also hate the vampires.
Oh, it's good to know.
It is good to know.
But we can't convince the vampires to work with us, so
That's right, I'm kind of developing a contingency plan.
vampire grenades.
You just threw a vial of ash at us. Why? An hour later, why is there a vampire in our camp?
Ethan's not even in this campaign.
Hey, what can I
Yet.
say? He's been a great influence.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that was a lot.
there's
I
all of the
appreciate
lore
that.
dumps.
I don't want to talk to twins at this time.
I just took 6
Okay.
pages of notes.
I think perhaps
I hear
yeah.
hound.
I think, do you all hear that Nightbane
Somebody
talking in the
needs-
background? Someone's hungry.
Somebody needs attention of some type.
My brother's dog is here as well.
Ah.
So they were
Guys.
backing at each other. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Oh, look at that big head.
Oh my
Uh,
god, he's so tall he's probably not even like reaching up.
Nah.
No.
He's just on all fours, that's his height.
He's sitting down currently.
Oh my gosh. That's such a big dog.
This guy.
He's so huge.
Yeah. That's this guy. But Ox is gonna go do a little stand-up tree sleep. It's just been a fair amount for him.
Understandable, definitely understandable.
Hey, Freddy, real quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there paper in camp?
I'm sure there is.
Great. Is there like a pen, writing utensil? Can I like requisition some?
I'm sure you can find somebody that has something and borrow it or use it, and we're not requisitioning. We're not that organized yet.
Right.
It would be nice if we got that way, but hey, we need to collect some more.
Time.
Who's in charge of this camp?
Well, Isabel is the oldest of us here, so we kind of defer to her. But we are, we meet every now and then and we discuss plans. Current plans is collect more Nightbane so that we can start getting organized. We'll probably have another meeting here in a couple of days after we move.
Right.
Okay.
So, actually, question about that real quick. Obviously, so I'm going to say obviously, but I actually don't know. This is why I'm asking. Do we move on a regular basis? Are we going to be moving on a regular basis? Because if we stay in this place, our camp will then become permanent in the Nightlands, and then they'll be able to tell where we are.
Exactly. We move every 2
Whoa.
weeks so that we don't form an echo in the Nightlands.
Okay, so follow-up
You're
question.
listening.
I am. I'm smart. If a car is broken down, so like a car is normally a moving around thing, and it goes from place point A to point B on a regular basis. But if a car's broken down and it stays in that spot, wow, those are two huge Nightbane, and they're dog-shaped too.
Yeah.
Do they?
Canine form.
That's cool. Werewolf.
Yes, they will form. Anything that's stationary for months at a time will form.
Okay, so they
in the Nightlands.
do have
Junkyards.
a sense of cars, but it'll be made of
Yes.
that clay stuff, so it wouldn't actually be like
Yes.
working machinery.
Nope. It'll
Okay,
just
cool,
be
cool,
in the
cool, cool,
form
cool.
of.
If we put in like a measure of will into it, like for example, if we were say a Night Lord, could we then turn one of those vehicles into an actual vehicle?
No.
Okay.
Or I don't think they can. No. They only transfer life force, and a car doesn't have life force. It isn't powered by life force. But they can turn a doppelganger into a sentient being of the doppelganger.
Do Nightbane decompose?
When we die? Yes.
How long does that take?
I don't know. How long does it take a human to decompose?
Depends on the environment.
Probably just as long. Depends on the environment. Depends if you burn them. Depends if you bury them.
So would like a frozen corpse form over in the Nightlands?
Could be.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just thinking about mechanics here. So, like, if a frozen corpse goes over to the Nightlands, that was something that had life force.
It's not a doppelganger. It's not an echo
So it wouldn't. Okay, so it
of a
wouldn't
being, so they could not reanimate it.
Millie, you grew up with me. You know exactly what's wrong with me.
I have not been in your doctor's appointments.
Sort of. Family therapy. That was when you were kids.
I've forgotten most of that, but
Yeah,
The
very
good old
traumatic
days.
experience.
I guess.
Yes.
A lot of questions.
Again,
Right.
a lot of these questions about how things eventually act in the Nightlands would require you to go over there and sit there and watch them. And if you want to try and really do that, go for it. We won't know the answer anyway, because you'll never tell us.
Right, okay. Whew. We don't have like a computer or something in camp, do we?
No, nothing electronic. Nothing that uses electricity.
Okay.
We don't want anything that can draw attention. We trust the
old-
shroud, but we don't know. We don't want to push it.
How old were the twins when they escaped from the Nightlands?
16,
How old are they now?
19.
3 years.
Maybe it is worth going to see them. I'm not a fan of twins, but
Why?
I have some questions. They're just eerie.
Why?
Have you not seen them? They're just a little...
I have seen twins. But then again, I've also seen the same model of a gun side by side, and those can also be called twins. Nothing eerie about that.
Yeah, but people aren't mass-produced in a factory. They're not supposed to be identical.
Have you seen a hospital's maternity ward? It kind of looks like people are mass-produced in a factory.
It does kind of look like that, you're right. I have questions for him. Where can we find them?
He tells you how to get to their tent.
Of course, they have the same tent. Creepy.
They're family!
There's just too much there.
You have issues, and yes, I do know what they are. I have a dossier on you.
Typical.
They also can't separate.
I'm sorry,
Like-
was that can or cannot?
Siamese
Cannot.
can't separate, or...
Not Siamese.
But they're always
Their-
side by side because they're
Their
freaky twins.
power requires them to stay within 100 yards of each
Power?
other. The shroud and
Twin
their mere
BS.
walking ability. It's protecting us, so yeah, I think they should stay together.
Excuses.
We walked into the middle of their camp without even realizing because of the power of the twins. I don't think these are excuses. With the level of understanding you don't have, Millie, you're just being cynical.
I'm being judgmental.
Cynical, judgmental, what's the difference?
Semantics.
Sure.
Semantics.
Sure.
Penbeard.
It's great storage space. Could use my ear, but it's farther away. So,
Here's
Beard.
already got something in it,
mhm.
so. Penbeard. Okay, well, at least one of you is going to the twins.
I'm
Not
going
Ox.
as well.
2 of you are going to the twins. Well then, we shall find out what the twins are next week. But before next week, you both or everybody's got 2 more lores. Lore Nightlands and Lore Night Lords
Oh.
at 20%.
Oh my god, okay, that's so many.
Oh, you don't know the half of it yet.
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
It could if you study and
Uh-huh.
learn things. You want lore.
Yes.
And as always, Freddy's always open to talk more, meaning mechanics wise, you can come back and spend time and increase your lore by talking with him more. Takes a lot of time, but you can do it.
Wait, I don't see one for Night Lords.
You have
We're
to create
making
it.
new ones.
It's a new one.
It's not in the
It's-
skills sheet.
It's
I'm
not in
adding
the
it
skills.
there, but it's its own new thing.
Okay, so
That's
even though the
interesting.
other ones, Lord Nightbane new, Lord Nightbane's new, there's no Lord Night Lords new as of yet.
I guess I forgot to put that in the skill sheet, but yes, there should have been one there, but yes.
Okay.
There is the Lore Night Lords.
Are Night
Good.
Lords and Nightlands, are they like separate words? Or
Yes.
combined
one
words?
word. One word.
Okay. Cool.
year may have closed for now. We hope you met a friend this go around. Tired and blurry you may be. We hope your minds are full from this revelry. Repeat